Welcome back to Finance 3.0, the show where we make sense of the big financial shifts shaping our world and your wallet. I'm your host, Asya Semanova. Today's topic hits home for everyone listening, the big print. Why doesn't your paycheck stretch as far as it used to? Why does everything from rent to groceries feel like it's running ahead of you? And why does the national debt look less like a number and more like a cosmic joke? Let's unpack how America's money system got here and whether sound money might be the fix we need. How we got here. So let's roll it back. Money used to be pretty simple. It was gold, silver, stuff you could actually hold that had value. America ran on bimetallism, meaning gold and silver backed our currency. Then in 1913, the Federal Reserve showed up, supposedly to stabilize things. And for a while, the dollar still had a gold tether. But by 1933, Roosevelt banned private gold ownership. That was the first big crack. Fast forward to 1971. Nixon drops the mic and cuts the final link between the dollar and gold. From that day on, the dollar was pure fiat, backed by nothing but trust in the government. That's the Nixon Shock, and it set the stage for today's money experiment. The big print and QE. Here's where the big print comes in. That's just shorthand for quantitative easing, or QE. Fancy name, simple idea. The Fed basically creates money out of thin air and buys bonds or securities. The goal? Pump cash into the system, keep rates low, and stimulate growth. Sounds harmless, until you look at what actually happened. After the 2008 crash, QE became the Fed's go-to move. Trillions poured into banks and markets. Then COVID hit, and QE went into overdrive. The Fed's balance sheet doubled, over $8.9 trillion in just a couple years. The result? If you owned stocks or real estate, congratulations, you got richer. If you were working for a paycheck, not so much. Wages barely moved, prices soared, and the wealth gap grew like crazy. Since leaving the gold standard, the dollar's lost over 85% of its buying power. $1 in 1971 buys you $6 worth of stuff today. And don't forget the national debt, $36 trillion and climbing. Interest payments alone are eating the federal budget. So yeah, the print now, worry later strategy has a hangover. Why sound money still matters? So what's the alternative? Enter sound money. The concept is old, but powerful. Sound money is currency that holds its value. It's scarce, it's durable, and it doesn't let politicians run the printing press like a broken fire hydrant. Historically, gold and silver did this job. Why does it matter? Because it keeps inflation from silently robbing you. It forces governments to live within their means. And it gives people confidence that their savings won't vanish in a cloud of devalued dollars. Some folks look to gold again. Others think Bitcoin. Limited supply, decentralized, no central banker might be the modern version. And then there are hybrids, where you tie part of the dollar back to real assets, the pushback. Now, not everyone's cheering for a gold or Bitcoin revival. Critics say tying money to assets is too rigid. Remember the Great Depression? Part of the reason the U.S. dumped gold in the first place was because it couldn't expand the money supply fast enough to respond. Modern monetary theory, or MMT, goes the opposite way. It says governments can't run out of money they issue. The real limit isn't dollars, it's inflation. Spend to grow the economy, tax to cool it down. To them, sound money is a straitjacket. And here's the kicker. The U.S. doesn't have nearly enough gold to back its $36 trillion in debt. A full return isn't just hard, it's basically impossible without rewriting the global financial system. Maybe a middle ground. So where does that leave us? Probably with some kind of middle ground. Partial gold backing, state-level experiments with silver and gold, or new private innovations like gold-backed stablecoins. These could reintroduce discipline without locking us into a rigid 19th century model. The big print. Here's the bottom line. America's been running a 50-year experiment with fiat money, and the results aren't exactly inspiring. Rising debt, inflation headaches, and a lot of distrust in the system. The big question is whether we double down on printing and debt or bring back some version of sound money to stabilize things. Thanks for hanging out with me on Finance 3.0. If you want more straight talk about the forces shaping your financial future, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, protect your money because no one else is going to do it for you.